Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining. We shall make a start. And let's go. Radha Madhava. Jai Radha Madhava. Jaya Kunj Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava. Jaya Kunj Bihari. Jaya Gopijana Vallabha. Jayo Giravardhari. Jaya Gopijana Vallabha. Jayo Giravardhari. Shodanandan Vrajjana Ranjana Yashodanandan Vrajjana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Om Gyānatimirandasya Gyānajnāśalakya Chakshununmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Staptam Yena Bhutle Samrupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvetam Savadutam Prishna Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kant Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhano Sutadevi Pranmami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpato Brehascha Kripa Sindhumevacha Patitana Pavnebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo 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 Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasdi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukham Kroti Vachalam Pangum Langyate Grim Yat Kirpatam Mandeshi Gurundin Tarnam Paramananda Madhvam Shitanya Ishram Hari Om Tassat Narayam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jem Uduriyat Nasta Preshu Abdureshu Nityam Bhagavad-Sevayā Bhavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Neshtiki Hari Hari Bol. Okay, so we are in chapter 7 and verse 33. We shall make a start. And last time we were talking about the Brahmastra, nuclear weapons, and very similar to what's happening around us. divine and demoniac consciousness, thinking, and how instead of taking shelter of God, people decide to take action, and in form of destruction. They don't care how what they destroy, how many people, lives they destroy, and so we'll continue from there. We are on Sloka 33, and let's share that. Okay. Here we go. Right. Sloka 33. Tata asadya tarasa darunam gotami sutam babandhamash tama raksha pashum rashanya yatha. So tatha, thereupon, asadya, arrested, tarasa, dexterously, darunam, dangerous, gotami sutam, the son of Gotami, babanda, bound up, amarsh, angry, tamaraksha, with copper red eyes, pashum, animal, rashanya, by ropes, yatha, as it were. Okay. So Arjun, his eyes blazing in anger like two red balls of copper, dexterously wrested the son of Gotami and bound him with ropes like an animal. So they started talking about the mother. They mentioned the mother's name because that's going to be very important in what happens to Ashwatthama. So his mother's Gotami. So Ashwatthama's mother Kripi, which is sister of Kripacharya, was born in the family of Gotam. So that's why they call him Gotami. The significant point in this shloka is that Ashwatthama was caught and bound up with ropes like an animal. According to Śrīmad Swami, who gives the original commentary on Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Arjun was obliged to catch the son of Brahman like an animal as part of his duty, dharma. But he behaved like an animal, so he deserved to be treated like an animal. This suggestion by Śrīmad Swami is also confirmed in the later statement of Sri Krishna. Ashwatthama was a bona fide son of Dronacharya and Kripi, but because he had degraded himself to a lower status of life, it was proper to treat him as an animal and not as a Brahman, or not even as a human being. So Srila Prabhupada mentioned that it is our attitude and actions that determine how we should be dealt with, not our position. So you could be the Prime Minister, the President, could be King, could be a spiritual master. If you don't behave according to your position, to your label, then the position has no meaning. It's like a fire. If it doesn't give heat, then it's no longer fire. If sugar is not sweet, then it's not sugar. So if it doesn't hold that position, that name, then it's useless and it's no longer valued. So we'll continue to text 34. Shibriya nini shantam rajva badva ripum balat parharajanam prakyupito bhagwan ambujekshanha. Shibriya, on the way to the military camp, nini shantam, while bringing him, rajva by the ropes, badva bound up, ripam the enemy, balat by force, praha said Arjunam unto Arjun, prakyupitaha in an angry mood, Bhagwan, the person regarded, Ambuj Ikshanaha, who looks with his lotus eyes. So after binding Ashwatthama, Arjun wanted to take him to a military camp. Excuse me. the personality of Godhead Shri Krishna, looking on with his lotus eyes, spoke to Arjun in an angry mood. So Krishna is testing Arjun. Both Arjun and Lord Shri Krishna are described here in an angry mood, but Arjun's eyes were like bowls of red copper, whereas the eyes of the Lord were like lotuses. This means that the angry mood of Arjun and that of the Lord are not on the same level. The Lord is transcendence, and thus he is absolutely in any state. The Lord never gets angry, he never gets out of control, because he is not controlled by the modes. His anger is not like the anger of a conditioned living being within the modes of qualitative material nature. Because he is absolute, both his anger and pleasure are the same. His anger is not exhibited in the three modes of material nature. It is only a sign of his bent of mind toward the cause of his devotee, because that is his transcendental nature. Therefore, even if he is angry, the object of anger is blessed. He is unchanged in all circumstances. So, everything about Krishna is transcendental. His happiness is anger, because Krishna is Bhakta, Vatsalya. He does not take lightly any harm to his devotees. Krishna takes it very personally. Should be very careful and diligent in our relationship to devotees. So be very cautious how we deal with devotees. So Krishna is showing anger because Arjun is showing anger, and Arjun, he has been disturbed. Their children have been killed. So rightfully, Krishna is showing his anger, but it's all under control. With him, everything is under control. His anger does not make him out of control. Mainam partharasi tratum brahma bandhu imam jahi yosav angasaha suptan avadin nishi balakan. So ma enam, never unto him, Parth, Arjun, Harasi, ought to tratum, give release, Brahma bandhum, a relative of Brahman, imam, him, Jahi, killed, Ya, he who has, Asau, those, Anagasaha, faultless, Suptan, while sleeping, Avadit, killed, Nishi, at night, Balakan, the boys. Lord Shri Krishna said to Arjun, you should not show mercy by releasing this relative of Brahman, Brahmabandhu, for he has killed innocent boys in their sleep. The word Brahmabandhu is significant. A person who happens to take birth in the family of a Brahman but is not qualified to be called a Brahman is dressed as the relative of a Brahman, so Brahmabandhu, and not as a Brahman. The son of a high court judge is not virtually a high court judge, but there is no harm in addressing a high court judge's son as a relative of the honorable justice. Therefore, as by birth only one does not become a high court judge, so also one does not become a Brahman simply by birthright, but by acquiring the necessary qualifications of a Brahman. So Brahman is only a Brahman when he has those qualities, not just because he's taken birth in a Brahman's house. If he doesn't have the qualities, then he's just related to people who have those qualities. He is not necessarily a person of that quality himself. As the high court judgeship is a post for the qualified man, so also the post of a Brahman is attained by qualification only. The Shastra enjoins that if good qualifications are seen in a person born in a family other than that of a Brahman, the qualified man has to be accepted as a Brahman. And similarly, if a person born in the family of a Brahman is void of Brahmanical qualifications, then he must be treated as a non-Brahman, or in better terms, a relative of Brahman. Lord Shri Krishna, the supreme authority of all religious principles, the Vedas, has personally pointed out these differences, and he is about to explain the reason for this in the following shlokas. Okay, let's see if there's anything you can add. So, Brahman is post, not that you are born and you are automatically a Brahman, even if you don't have these qualities. So it's not by birthright, but it's by your gunas and karmas, one's qualities and activities, that you can become a Brahman. It's not a birthright. You act like a Shudra, just because you're born in a Brahman does not make you a Brahmin or a Pandit. If you act like a Shudra, you're a Shudra. If you act like an animal, you are considered an animal, because you are what your consciousness is. Birth has got nothing to do with it. Who are you? You are the spirit soul. So if your spirit soul is behaving like an animal, then that's what you are. Whether the body is given by the Brahman family is irrelevant here. So let's continue. 36. Matam parmatam anmatam suptam balam striyam jadam prapanam viratham bitam naripum hanti dharmavit. So matam careless, paramatam intoxicated, anmatam insane, supatam asleep, balam boy, istriyam woman, jadam foolish, prapanam surrendered, viratham one who has lost his chariot, bitam afraid, not nipum enemy, hanti kill, dharmavit one who knows the principles of religion. Excuse me. So a person who knows the principle of religion does not kill an enemy who is careless, intoxicated, insane, asleep, afraid, or devoid of his chariot. Nor does he kill a boy, a woman, a foolish creature, or a surrendered soul. So a righteous person does not kill these people. An enemy who does not resist is never killed by a warrior who knows the principle of religion. Formerly battles were fought on the principles of religion and not for the sake of sense gratification. If the enemy happened to be intoxicated, asleep, etc., as above mentioned, he was never to be killed. These are some of the codes of religious war. Formerly, war was never declared by the whims of selfish political leaders. It was carried out on religious principles free from all vices. Violence carried out on religious principles is far superior to so-called non-violence. And we see now countries, some of them, who are showing aggression, even their own people don't agree with them. They want to change their leadership. They want somebody else to come in power, and those in power are not prepared to give up their power. So, and this happened so many times in so many different countries, that the dictators, the fundamentalists, they are ruling and they refuse to give up, and they want to apply destruction for their own people. So very dangerous, who you're led by. So that's 36. So as I've just said, that if the enemy is asleep, intoxicated, careless, insane, afraid, or devoid of his chariot, should not be slain. But Abhimanyu was killed against the code of conduct, and the children were killed while they were sleeping. Krishna told Arjuna to start breaking the codes. If Krishna said kill, then kill. Krishna says forget the codes, which were broken in the Mahabharata Yuddha anyway. People were killed while they were off the chariot. I think, if I remember, Karan, his chariot was stuck and he was trying to get that out, and he was shot with an arrow. So the cords were already broken from both sides. Obviously, the Kauravas started breaking first, and then Pandavas had to follow. They had no choice, because if there's no cords being followed, then it's unfair. You can't fight like that. If the enemy is not following the codes, then you have to do something as well, or you have to do the same. to survive. Swaparananya paraparanhi prapushnati agranaha kalha tad fadas tasyahi shreyo yad doshat yati adha puman. Swaparanan, one's own life, ya one who paraparanehi, at the cost of others' lives. Prapushanati, maintains properly. Agranaha, shameless. Kalha, wretched. Tatpadha, killing of him. Tasya, he certainly. Shreya, well-being. Yat, by which. Doshat, by the fault. Yati, goes. Adha, downwards. Puman, a person. So a cruel and wretched person who maintains his existence at the cost of others lives deserves to be killed for his own well-being. Otherwise he'll go down by his own actions. So a cruel and wretched person who keeps accumulating more sin is going to go to hell. So it's better if he's killed or taken off his position that he has, like talking, recent current what's happening right now. And so it's better for them that they stop accumulating these sins. A life for a life, it's just punishment for a person who cruelly and shamelessly lives at the cost of another's life. Political morality is to punish a person by death sentence in order to save a cruel person from going to hell. So in way you're helping them, because you stop them accumulating this and they're getting the punishment right here in this material world, so or on earth, so they don't have to go to hell too, where there will be a lot more bigger penalty. That a murderer is condemned to death sentence by the state is good for the culprit, because in his next life he will not have to suffer for his act of murder. Such a death sentence for the murderer is the lowest possible punishment offered to him. And it is said in the Smriti Shastras that men who are punished by the king on the principle of a life for life are purified of all their sins, so much so that they may be eligible for being promoted to the planets of heaven. According to Manu, the great author of civic codes and religious principles, even the killer of an animal is to be considered a murderer, because animal food is never meant for the civilized man, whose prime duty is to prepare himself for going back to Godhead. So, according to Manu's code of conduct, you shouldn't even kill animals. But in Christianity, thou shalt not kill, they say, applies to humans only, not of animals. But we, in our civic codes and religious principles, seem to be different or understood differently than to the, say, Christianity. They think the 10 Commandments, and one of them is thou shalt not kill, only applies to killing another human being. But Srila Prabhupada did explain that now it means animals also, not just human beings. So, murder for civilized man, whose prime duty is to prepare himself for going back to Godhead. He says that in the act of killing an animal, there is a regular conspiracy by the party of sinners, and all of them are liable to be punished as murderers, exactly like a party of conspirators who kill a human being combinedly. He who gives permission, he who kills the animal, he who sells the slaughtered animal, he who cooks the animal, he who administers distribution of the foodstuff, and at last he who eats such cooked animal food are all murderers, and all of them are liable to be punished by the laws of nature. So there's a certain percentage of that punishment, it is spread out between these people all the way, in this chain, you could say, of distribution chain. So from giving the permission to the killing, to the slaughtering, cooking, and distribution of the foodstuff. I hope using the plates is not included in this, but by laws of nature, no one create a living being despite all advancement of material science, and therefore no one has the right to kill a living being by one's independent whims. So anyone who's encouraging, who's supporting these killing is liable and is considered sinful. For the animal eaters, the scriptures have sanctioned restricted animal sacrifices only, and such sanctions are there just to restrict the opening of slaughterhouses and not to encourage animal killing. The procedure under which animal sacrifice is allowed in the scriptures is good both for the animal sacrificed and the animal eaters. It is good for the animal in the sense that the sacrificed animal is at once promoted to the human form of life after being sacrificed at the altar. Just want to read that again. The procedure under which animal sacrifice is allowed in the scriptures is good both for the animal sacrificed and the animal eaters. It is good for the animal in the sense that the sacrificed animal is at once promoted to the human form of life after being sacrificed at the altar, and the animal eater is saved from grosser types of sin, eating meat supplied by organized slaughterhouses, which are ghastly places for breeding all kinds of material afflictions to society, country, and the people in general. So the material world is itself a place always full of anxieties, and by encouraging animal slaughter, the whole atmosphere becomes polluted more and more by war, pestilence, famine, and many other unwanted calamities. So cruelty has its own rewards, and it causes so many problems of its own on the Adi Devic problems, Adi Bhautik problems, and it definitely cause Adi Atmic problems as well to people. You see, eating animal flesh, there was so many diseases, so much diseases spread as well into the body. So there's all types of distress for killing and eating meat. So death sentence of a murderer release him from their bad karma, otherwise they may suffer in hell. We are killers of souls if we don't help ourselves and others to elevate the soul. So important is to elevate and help others to elevate as well in spirituality. And 38. Pratishrutam cha bhavata panchale shanvato mam ahirishye shirastasya yaste manini putraha. Pratishrutam, it is promised. Pratishrutam, it is promised, cha and bhavata by you, Panchali, unto the daughter of the king of Panchal, Draupadi, Sharnavatha, which was heard, mam, by me personally, Harishya, must I bring, Shiraha, the head, Tasya of him, Ya whom, Te your manini, consider, Putraha, the killer of your sons. Furthermore, I have personally heard you promise Draupadi that you will bring forth the head of the killer of her sons. So Krishna is reminding Arjuna that with my own ears, I heard you promise that you're going to bring his head. So why are you not killing him? And finally, Tad asau vadyatam pap atatai atam bandhuha Bharatuscha vipriyam vira kartvan kulpam sanaha. Therefore, Asau, this man, Vadiyata, will be killed, Papa, the sinner, Atati, assaulter, Atam, own, Bandhuha, killer of sons, Bharatuhu of the master, cha also Vipriyam, having not satisfied, Vir, O warrior, Kritavan, one who has done it, Kul Pamasanaha, the burnt remnant of the family. So this man is an assassin and murderer of your own family members. Not only that, but he has also dissatisfied his master. He is but the burnt remnants of his family. Kill him immediately. So the son of Dronacharya is condemned here as the burnt remnants of his family. The good name of Dronacharya was very much respected. Although he joined the enemy camp, the Pandavas still held him in great respect. And Arjun, because they understood why he has to support them. And Arjun saluted him before beginning the fight. There is nothing wrong in that way, but the son of Dronacharya degraded himself by committing acts which are never done by the Dvijas or the twice-born higher castes. Ashvathama, the son of Dronacharya, committed murder by killing the 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi, by which he dissatisfied his master Duryodhana. Because Duryodhana didn't approve all this when he told him, who never approved of the heinous act of killing the 5 sleeping sons of the Pandavas. Because Duryodhana however he was a warrior. He wanted to fight, not kill sleeping children. That's petty. This means that Ashvathama became an assaulter of Arjun's own family members, and thus he was liable to be punished by him. In the Shastras, he who attacks without notice or kills from behind or sets fire to one's house or kidnaps one's wife is condemned to death. Krishna reminded Arjuna of these facts so that he might take notice of them and do the needful. So Krishna is saying, look, he is an aggressor. An aggressor is meant to be killed. Why are you hesitating? Kill him. So even Duryodhana was disgusted by Ashvathama's behavior for the heinous crime that he did. So he should be killed. Krishna was testing Arjuna, but Arjuna was very thoughtful. Arjuna early as well, when fighting the war, Krishna wanted him to kill everyone, but Arjuna paused. In the middle of the battle, Arjuna paused, just as the conches are going off. Instead of saying, "Oh, come back out now, I promised," or "I'm here now, it's embarrassing if I back out, and I'm a warrior, I have to fight." No. He says, "No, let's examine this properly. Am I doing the right thing? How can I kill my kinsmen? How can I kill my guru? How can I kill my forefathers?" He wanted to double check everything, that he was doing the right thing. And then through the Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna convinced him by giving him evidence and support his decision or his instruction that why he should surrender to Krishna and kill, or he should fight. But here it's a slightly different scenario. That it's not a battlefield. There's this wretched man who's right now helpless, and Krishna is saying, "Kill him." So he's like getting, come on, this is not a battlefield. Now you want me to kill him? Yeah, I know. In the heat of the moment, I promised Draupadi that I'll bring you his head, but probably better to take the whole thing, not just the head. So he's like pondering, what's the best solution for this? Because he's a warrior. He's not a natural killer. He doesn't just kill for the sake of killing. Yes, in a fight, he wouldn't hesitate. But this now seems like, that he has control over what happens to Ashvathama, and he's like is wondering what's the best form of action. And Krishna's proud of Arjuna, that he's thinking and not just whimsically just going around killing, and because that is a true devotee. He's not cruel. A devotee is not cruel. Even though there's cruelty from the other side, he will still think what is the best mode of action. So thank you all so much, and love to hear from yourselves. Just to check. Okay. So we'll start with Kiran Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, everybody. So much here in such a short period of time. This confirms that the scriptures, the Vedas, aren't just bucket chemistry. It is the science of cause and action. And it clearly identifies that there are principles upon which actions can be taken. Ashwatthama was driven by the need to annihilate Draupadi's 5 sleeping children. It's an absolute heinous crime. Any crime should fit, any punishment should fit the crime. And it just goes to show how wise the sages, the Acharyas were. An act of degradation has to have the most appropriate response. The act of annihilating a whole country and its people, such as weapons of mass destruction, and that there aren't any, becomes the reason to go to war. Absolute ridiculous. And these are all the way that in the Kali Yuga people now go to war on very flimsy evidence. Hence, we are from a heritage which clearly prescribes when it is right to go to war. Krishna is testing Arjuna on the battlefield. Arjuna doesn't want to go to war because they're my family, they're my kinsmen. Krishna says, you have to do the right thing. You have to act as a Kshatriya. Krishna at times is showing Arjuna his anger. But that anger is just a contrived anger, because Krishna is very equipoised, not only to the Brahmanas, but also to the dog eaters. But he's showing us how to react in the face of adversity. He's showing us that we will be presented with conflicting, dynamic scenarios, but how do we respond? Arjuna had doubts and indifferences. Shall I not? Shall I act? Shall I not act? But that doubt and that analysis to examine the cause and effect is the lessons for the liberated man. Think before you act. Think on the evidence that's presented to you. And that is what Krishna is teaching us through all these absolute priceless pieces of wisdom. There is a code of conduct that goes with any interaction in society, including the conduct of war. Yes, there were clear instructions that there was no battle to be fought after a certain time. No women, children were involved, and that at a certain time people ate certain people went to sleep, and there was no shooting below the knee. There are times when we have to think of the consequences. There are times when a robber comes to your house. You're not going to tell him where your tijori is or where your gold is. You have to lie to them, right? There is a time and a place to be mindful of the actions we take. Krishna lifted the wheel to deal with, I think it was Bhishma. And so, yeah, he was given the example that there are time and places where we have to be mindful that we have to make the right actions. There's so much here, the killing of animals. People are accomplices in this. You don't have to be the abattoir a person who wields the bullet, the knife, or the stun gun. You don't even have to be the person who packages it. The fact that we consume it and the fact that you are an accomplice in this, you are equally culpable. And hence, those actions should be justified by the punishment that goes with it. Eating is a crime. Eating of meat is a crime. And those involved in this barbaric trade will suffer the consequences in a previous life. Yet it's about consciousness. 400,000 human life forms. Those who consume animal products probably have a lower position in that hierarchy of 400,000. The scriptures of the other faiths, they allow the killing of meat. They allow the consumption of meat and alcohol, probably wine, you name it, whatever it is. It's up to them. It's a matter for them and their faith. But we have the Vedas, the Vedantic science, which is cause and effect. It clearly tells us when to take the right action. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thanks so much, Prabhuji. I like that. It's like in court of law, you also get charged for aiding and abetting. So that's basically what you're doing when you are consuming, you're packaging, you're selling meat. So you're aiding and abetting. And and it's so punishable. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Praveen Mataji. Hope you both well.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
To you, Mataji.
Yeah, so a lot's been said about meat eating, killing animals, and we can see, how the society is now, and we can see there's no compassion, and how people's behavior is. It's always like I always say, it is because what you eat. There was a Hindi saying, "Jaisa khaya vaisa hoy man." So we can see through people's behavior. So they've got no, there's no kindness, nothing. So people are very selfish, and it is all what they're eating and drinking. And also, the other point was, our actions define us who we are, not our birthright. It doesn't matter where you're born in a family of a Brahmana, we're not Brahman. It is our actions. So we have to be careful how we behave, and the qualities, our qualifications, they show who we are. And what was the other point? I think in the previous verses it spoke about aggressors, 6 aggressors, and Ashwatthama, he was an aggressor. So Krishna is telling Arjuna to kill him. And but I'm not sure whether Arjuna wanted to, because Draupadi didn't want Ashwatthama to be killed, because she was saying that like he's your teacher's son, and being a woman, she had kindness in her heart, and she was thinking of Ashwatthama's mother, because Draupadi could see, what she's going through, and she didn't want Ashwatthama's mother to go through that. So again, that shows the heart of a devotee, the kindness they have, although she has lost her sons, but she's still feeling that she doesn't want Kripi to go through that. So, yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. My mind is still all not okay. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
No, thank you for your contribution. I think you're absolutely right. We'll probably discuss that next time. And I think maybe Arjun knows in back of his mind that what he said. I don't think Draupadi would want to do that either. She would want his head, even though what he did is unforgivable. But these are devotees, and devotees have compassion even for the worst enemies. That's this is the quality of doing the kindness and compassion. So yeah, thank you, Mataji. Okay, Ajay Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, with the Pandavas, especially Arjun, discussed that the associates of the Lord, they understand what he wants as such. So in Arjun's case, he's not thinking necessarily, what do I want, my feelings. His first protocol is what would Krishna want? And so he is able to distinguish between what Krishna's saying to him and what she actually wants him to do. And that is so important, because when we think of what we want, we can become bewildered as such, our own personal selfish desires. But when we think about Krishna wants, then we will be led to the right path as such. So in this case, Arjun remained, he was still just trying to figure out, is it appropriate to kill Ashwatthama, despite despite his heinous crimes, despite everything he's done, despite what's happened to them with the Kauravas, not only before the battle, they inflicted so much pain and suffering on them. But even then, after all this, even after his sons have been killed, he's still applying that morality, that sense of what's right, that sense of he's still thinking what's appropriate. What would Krishna want? And so that's just such an amazing example for all of us, really, that whatever happens, we have to keep, it's the old saying, keep Krishna in the center, but so easy to forget as well. So we need, as long as we keep Krishna as the prime focus, then everything is fine. But when we don't, then we can find ourselves in situations where things are difficult, and then we take the wrong decision due to emotion or just incorrect understanding. So yeah, Arjun is a great example, and we should try to follow that. We should try to think what Krishna wants to do. We do that, we'll be okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Yeah, Krishna was saying one thing, and Krishna was thinking something else. Well, Krishna already knows anyway, what you're going to do, but he tests you. So, yeah, it was difficult for Arjun, one side he says, I'm surrendered and I'll do what you say. And then now he's able to rethink his policy. But yeah, I think they have an understanding of and I think Arjun probably read Krishna as well, that I know he's saying that, but he doesn't really mean it, and I think he's testing me, and I hope so anyway. So that's how it seems, that they managed to subtly agree what they should do with him, with Ashwatthama.
Hare Krishna, everyone. My pranams to all of you. Yes, we've seen that the Lord's anger is not like our anger. His anger is our anger is conditioned anger, isn't it? It's according to the time and situation and how we think, how we feel, how we will at that moment. But God is He's absolute, isn't it? So his anger is favorable to the enemies as well. Now, how it is favorable? That he vanquishes them, he kills them, he annihilates them, so they get liberated also, just by getting touched by Lord, and their life becomes successful. And all these characters, they are absolute, they're associates of Lord. They're, whether they're on the good side or the bad side, they have playing part, and they have been playing part continuously in the Lord's Leela, just to teach us about how to live our lives in different conditions and different situations. The Brahma Bandhu, this is another thing to know, another thing to reminded by Krishna to all of us, that just because we have born in a favorable lineage or family doesn't mean that we are going to be automatically, given all the qualities. Our qualities will be judged how we will be behaving, how we will act in our lives. And so that is one thing to be very mindful of, that we have to keep the prestige of our family, who we are born in, and our varna and the ashram intact. And so we just don't, not just defame ourselves, we defame where which family we are born into. And we are all once we get we are devotees of Lord, and once we get initiated, our gotra becomes Achyuta gotra. So actually we'll be defaming God in the first place. That is the most important thing we have to remember all the time, that we can't defame our God, because people will be laughing at us. They will be laughing stock for all others in the society. They will say that they just talk the talk, but they can't walk the walk. They're doing something and behaving in a different, completely opposite way. So a lot of lessons to be learned from Ashwatthama. He has behaved completely wrong, in a completely bad way, but lots of lessons to be learned from his actions also. He's violated all the codes of warfare. He has been maintaining his existence at the cost of others, and he has done the unthinkable by killing the sleeping sons of Draupadi. And he has brought ill fame not just to his family, but to his spiritual master, his father. And even Duryodhan wasn't happy with his foolish act. So no matter how dire the situation is, we have to be very careful what we utter, what we say, because what we say is going to lay the foundation of how we're going to act eventually. And if we can just control ourselves, so I think we should write these things on our forehead along with the Mahamantra, that we have to be careful how we speak. And speech brings all the problems. And the banter between Ashwatthama and Duryodhan and all these people, maybe when they were before they were going for fight, or what kind of talks were they having between each other, what was going in their mind, has come as Ashwatthama's acts. And what is happening around us in the world is also in a quite similar contrasting scenario at the moment. Instead of spending money on the right things for the upliftment of this society, which we have been given on a very contractual basis, not forever, instead of uplifting us, everybody is determined to, destroy it by buying and making them the best nuclear weapons. And nuclear weapons are not just going to destroy the earth, they're going to destroy the people's health. They're going to destroy everything which they have built over the years so scrutinizingly and with so much diligence. The society has progressed, and they are ready to just finish it just like that, and that too in the name of ego, isn't it? My country is more mightier than yours, my ideology is more mightier than yours. And they have all forgotten, they're forgetting that there is a higher purpose, and there's a higher source which who has where we all come from. So yes, let us all learn the lessons from these verses, and we look forward to the next verses as how the rest of the chapter unfolds. So thank you all for your realizations. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Yeah, we Hare Krishna's society. We represent Srila Prabhupada. We represent Radha and Krishna. So it's our duty, how we think, how we speak, how we act, because by anything any wrongdoing, we are letting them down, and it's very important then to keep the reputation and make sure that Krishna is glorified and not people pointing fingers that these Krishna's devotees are like this or like this. So set a good example. When we set a good example, people get inspired and they want to know, they want to join, and they get interested, they get advancement. So that's our duty. Thank you so much, and we'll catch up on Friday. Next Wednesday will be the overview for this. So we're heading towards the end of chapter 7. So Friday we'll have a lesson, then Monday, and on Wednesday next week we'll be in the evening as usual, 8 till 9 p.m. and we have the beautiful overview, and so look forward to that as well. So 2 more, Friday and Monday, and then overview. Thank you so much. Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari. Thank you so much.
Samved Bhaktan ki jai.
Jai Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone.